All right, how's it going, class? This is strictly for algebra. A lot of you are having problems with this last lesson that we had on 8.6, so I'm going to ask that if you need a little bit of extra help, I'm just going to go ahead and do 3 problems with you here, okay, that you can do on a separate paper and turn them in for extra credit if you'd like. Put your name on it, date, just so I know that you saw the video online, okay? We're going to go through 3 examples, like I said, and we're going to review it together. So in case you need a little bit of extra help before the test. Okay? So let's do this first one right here. First one says, I have 4x cubed plus 8x squared plus 4x. Now remember, for this last lesson I told you got to think about 2 different things. One, you got to think about, can I take anything out? Can I take anything out? That should be your first question. And then after that, after I'm done taking stuff out, can I use the x or the x box to factor? Okay? So those are the 2 big questions I'm going to be thinking about in my head. Can I take anything out? And do I use the x or the x box? So look at this right here. I have a 4, an 8, and a 4. Can I take anything out from there? And hopefully you're thinking, Ms. Paul, you can take out a big 4. So I'm going to take out a 4. Okay, so I got a 4 out already. Let me write it right down here. And now what about the x's? Can you take anything out there? Well, there's 3 of them here. There's 2 of them right here. And there's 1 of them right here. How many can I take out if I can take out any of the x's? There's 3, 2, 1. And if you said 1, you're right. I can only take out 1 of them. Okay, so there's 1. Now I'm going to rewrite the inside. Okay, I don't know if you're still having problems rewriting the inside or what's left in here. But what's left in here, remember, it's like you're saying 4x times something gives me that. All right? So 4x times something gives me 4x cubed. Well, if I write just 1x, that's going to be, let's see, that's going to be 1x and 1x. It's 2. Oh, I need 3 of them. So what needs to go here? It's a 3. I'm sorry, not a 3. That's a 2, right? Okay, so that one works. Plus 4 times something, let me change it this way, times something gives me 8. So I have 2 right here. And then I have 1x here times something gives me 2 of them. What do I need to put right here? So I'm going to put a 2 and 1x. Okay, the last one. 4x times something gives me 4x. Well, I don't need to really add any more x's here because I just need 1 of them. And it looks like I just need to put a 1 right here because 1 times anything is the same thing. Okay, so we're pretty much done. This is pretty much done in terms of taking something out. Now the next question is, we're going to focus on the inside right here, this inside part right in here. Because this thing isn't done being worked out. You can still factor this inside. Okay, this can still be factored. So now let me just kind of highlight the part that we're going to focus on right now. We're going to focus on this whole part in here. Okay, and to focus on this part, I need you to think about 2 things. Look at over here. Do I need to use the x factor or do I need to use the x box? Look at the difference here. Here's a little quick review. When do I use the x box? Let me put this in the front so you can see it. When do I use the x box and when do I use just the x? Well, I use just the x whenever there's no coefficient right here, when there's no number in front of the x squared. If it's just like a 1, then you just use the x factor. Now, if you have a number that's other than a 1 right here, like a 3, a 2, a 20, a 14, a 16, a 7, an 8, whatever it is right here, then you got to use the x and then the box. Okay? Look at our number over here. Well, looks like I just have a 1 right here. This looks more like the top one up here. So I'm going to use this one for this one, okay? Let me get this one out of the way. I'm going to use this one, the green one. So let's do the x. I'm going to do it over here real quick. And the top number, what goes on the top number? Right here, what goes on the top? This one right here. What goes on the bottom? The middle number, okay? 1 and 2. Okay, what numbers give me this when I multiply them? Well, just 1 and 1. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. There you go, got my answer. Now I need you to change this, the 2 answers that you have, your 1 and your 1, change those to parentheses. So I'm going to write those right here. x plus 1, that's one of them, and x plus 1 is the other one. Now, if you're really good, you can write it with the parentheses with the power of 2, or you can leave it like that. And don't forget to write down your 4x, okay? This is your final answer. This is totally done. You can't do anything else to this. That's factored all the way, okay? This is an answer right there. Okay, so we're going to move on now. Before we move on, actually, let me bring these two things over because we're going to need these two on the other side. I'm going to need to use these all over again. Okay, next one. Move them over here. Okay. Same exact type of problem. Let's see. We have 3a to the 5th minus 6a to the 4th minus 24a to the 3rd. Okay. Can I take anything out of each one of these? A 3, a 6, and a 24. Can they all be divided by a number? And I hope you're thinking of 3. I'm going to use a 3 here. And then what about the variables? A5, A4, A3. How many A's can I probably take out of each one of these? And hopefully you said 3 of them. There's 3. Okay, so now let's do the inside part again, okay? This times something gives me that. Okay, well, what do I got to put here? If you're thinking, oh, I got to put a 1, that's fine. You can put a 1 because 1 times 3 is 3. But some people don't like to write the 1 there. I really don't like to write it, but you can. I'm going to put A2. Why did I put a 2? Because 3 plus 2 gives me the 5, okay? And 3 times an invisible 1 here is 3, okay? Now, if you're still having a hard time and you don't really quite understand how I'm getting these inside numbers, I'll show you a different trick right now in a second, okay? Let's just finish up the rest. This times something gives me negative 6a4. Okay, let me try it. I'm going to try, what if I put a negative 2? Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Yes, that works. And how many more a's do I need to add here to get to 4? Well, if I have 3 right here, 3 plus something to get to 4, how many do I need to add? A, just 1. You're right, just 1. And then the next one, 3a times something is negative 24a3. Well, that's going to be negative 8. Negative 8 times 3 is negative 24. Yes, that works. Negative 3 times that is negative 24. And a3 times nothing over here is still a3. Good. That works. All right, we're good with this one. Now, I need you to think about this. What does that inside look like? Does the inside here, does this whole inside, don't worry about this 3a. I don't care about this right now. This is outside, it's all by itself, so don't even worry about it, okay? Worry about this in here. This whole thing in here. Does this one look like I'm going to have to use the x or the x box? Oh, and I erased the number here, didn't I? That was a 3. Okay, so x or x box, and if you said x, then you're right. We're going to use just the x. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. I'm going to write the x right here in this area, okay? Do my little x. What number goes on top? Negative 8. What number goes on the bottom? Negative 2. Remember to put those negative signs. Look, there's a negative right there, negative 8, negative 2. So make sure you put negative 8, negative 2. That's super important. Okay, what factors work here? Well, I can use a 4. What if I use a 4 times a 2? That would work, but I need to make one of them negatives. And I need to, when I add these, I have to get a negative 2. So I have to put a negative in front of the 4. Okay, so that's done. Now I need to write this answer, the negative 4 answer and the 2 answer, like parentheses. And remember, they're not x's, so make sure you put the a's. A minus 4, that's one of them. What's the other one? A plus 2. Okay, and then rewrite the 3a cubed on the outside. That's still part of the answer. And that's it. This answer right here is that's the last thing you can do. You can't do anything else to this. You are done with this problem. Okay? All right, one more. Let me paste my little guide here. Okay, I'm going to just put that right there just so I have it handy. So you can see it. That's a 3x squared. Okay, so now I got 3x to the 5th minus 12x cubed. What do I do with this? Okay, remember the first question in my head I should be thinking about. Can I take anything out of these two things? I know there's only 2 in here, but that's fine. You can still take stuff out. What about the 3 and the 12? What can you take out of these two? Now, if you're thinking you can take out a 3, then you're right. And what about the x's? How many x's can you take out? This one has 5. This one has 3. 5 and 3. Which one can you take out? You can take out 3 of them. So I'm going to take out 3. And you know what I didn't do on the last one? I told you I was going to do. I was going to show you a different way to do the parenthesis part. Okay, so I'm going to probably do that here in this lesson, in this problem. So parentheses, parentheses. Let's see what's left inside. I'm going to do it twice. Okay, like I said, I'm going to show you the way I usually do it, and then I'll do it using division, so you can see what I mean. Okay, 3x cubed times something gives me 3x5. Well, you're right. You can put like a 1 there because 3 times 1 is 3. That's what I want, but I don't really need a 1. I'm just going to write down x. How many x's should I need to add here to get to 5? 2. 2 and 3 is 5. Minus 3 times something is 12. That's a 4. x3 times something is x3. Well, I don't need anything there. If I put another x, that's going to be 4. I don't want 4. I just want 3. So all you need is a 4 there. And you're done. Now, we're not done with this problem, but before I move on, let me show you a different way to get this number and this number, okay? So after you're done picking what you want to take out and you have it on the outside, then you can divide this by that same thing. Watch. Put it like this underneath. Like this underneath. This is if you're having a hard time, okay? I'm sorry, why am I putting it 5? I'm sorry, hold on. That should be a 3. 3 and 3. Okay, so you can do it this way. Whatever you get here, you can write it right underneath here, and it's like you're dividing. Watch. What's 3 divided by 3? It's a 1 right here. Look, I have a 1 right there. And then what do you do when you have powers and you're dividing them? If you remember, you subtract them. 5 minus 3, 2. Now look over here. Negative 12 divided by 3, negative 4. 3 minus 3, nothing, 0. That's why I didn't write anything, okay? That's another way to do it. So if you're having a hard time trying to do this part in your head, like 3 times this is that, if you're having a hard time doing that, then you can do it this way up here, all right? So this one's almost done, but we're not done yet exactly. We're not done. This is not completely factored. When I say is it completely factored, I mean, is there anything else we can do to this problem, or is it absolutely done? And this is not done. Look, this inside here, this can still be factored. Now, if you're really good with the shortcut lesson that I did, 8.5, then you're probably already thinking, I know what the answer is to this inside. But if you're not good with the shortcut, then I'm going to ask you to use either the X or the X box to do this problem, okay? Now, I'm going to do it the long way. I'm going to do one of these two methods. Does this in here look more like it's for the X only or the X box? And hopefully you're thinking, well, because there's no number in front of here, that it's the X only. So let's go ahead and do the X. Remember in the X, you put the last number in the top, and you put a middle number, whatever's in here in the middle, on the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that. Negative 4 on top. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know what is in the middle? There's nothing in the middle here. You know how there's usually like, it'll usually look like this, like with something in the middle? Well, there's nothing here. So if there's no number in the middle, guess what number you have to use on the bottom? And hopefully you said 0. Okay, now we got to figure out this. Negative 2 times 2, will that work? Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, that works. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. There you go, that works. Okay, so now I need you to take this and make this into the answer. Take this, 2, and make it into an answer. So here's your final answer. Rewrite the first part. Okay, and then the last part, I'm going to write my 2 parentheses. X minus 2 and X plus 2. And you are done. Because there is nothing else you can do with this one, and there's nothing else you can do with this one, because they're all factored out. There's nothing left to do. This one you could still do something because it had an x squared here. and it had a minus and a 4. These are difference of two squares. Now, if you did the shortcut right away, then you saw that these two were shortcut problems, and you could have done x minus 2 and x plus 2 right away. But remember, you could always use the x factor or the x box if you get lost. Okay? So this is it. That's it. 3 problems, guys. Hopefully that cleared up a little bit. 3 extra problems of practice, and that's it.